We are glad that you all could join us. So thank you. Um, okay, so should we get started?
Sure thing. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, Shante, do you have all your materials, or do you want it? Since you're our only person here, we can wait another minute if you want.
I have everything. I have my poster, scissors, duct tape, stickers. What am I missing?
Ballpoint pen or permanent markers?
The markers. Okay. Okay. Ooh, help me, big girl. Yeah, markers and markers. Okay. Okay.
You're all set?
We're all set. We're
I
all
love it.
All right.
ready.
You've got a personalized crafting session today.
Yes, we love it. She's homeschooled. Come on, Gracie. Come over here. Sit right there so you can hold it for me.
And her name's Grace.
We call her Jersey, but yes, she's Jersey Grace. Hold it, big girl.
Hello.
Speak to her.
I'm Stacy. This is Jake, and that's Eric.
Hello.
Don't wave. Speak.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. Jake, take us.
All
So
right.
we do have to start recording now. Oh, we've been.
Yeah,
Okay,
we've been recording. Okay.
we don't use all that other stuff. We just use it from here. So,
All right.
go ahead.
Starting now. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you for coming to this Inform Your Community Craftivism event. My name is Jake. My pronouns are he, they. I am a white male with brown hair. My shirt is a dark gray. My background is a light bluish color. Closed captioning is enabled and can be turned on by participants. And here at Inform Your Community, we offer events that combine important, impactful information with having fun. You can visit us on our website at www.informyourcommunity.org. And on the bottom of that site, you can find our social media links. On the top right of our website, you can tell your friends to sign up for our mailing list. And also on the top right, you can donate using our donation link. If you're watching the recording of this video, hello, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube. We'd really appreciate it. And we would love to hear what you think of our crafts and to see your finished projects on social media. So this event is part of our Celebrate and Create program where children craft while discussing relevant social issues. And today's one is about understanding financial wellness. Understanding more about financial wellness is an important topic for many reasons. It's a concerning fact, but about 1 in 5 adults who are age 35 and older said they're worried about retiring without having enough money set aside. That's like 1 out of every 5 fingers on your hands, which sounds like a great reason for us to get to know more about this topic so we can plan when we're older and save our money and just make our lives a lot easier. Today, we also have Eric with us as a co-facilitator. He is a student at Stuyvesant High School, and he currently leads a nonprofit dedicated to improving financial literacy among high school students. And I will be helping with any tech issues and just to help monitor the chat. And throughout the craft, if you have any questions or comments on the craft, topic, whatever it may be, feel free to unmute yourself or talk or write in the chat. And we would love to see your work in progress, so feel free to show your project to the camera when it's complete. And now I'd just like to take a moment to introduce our crafter, Stacy. So she's going to help us with our craft today. And I was just wondering, Stacy, if you'd be able to tell us what it is we're going to be working on today.
Absolutely. I am so happy to be here today. And my pronouns are she and her, and I'm wearing a yellow shirt. I have a black background, and I have salt and pepper hair, although it is getting a little bit more salt these days than pepper. I picked this craft because you know what? I had to pick something that's financial related. And what is more financial related than a wallet? And so, because that is where we tend to keep our money and we keep it safe nearby us. That way, when we want to buy something, we have the money handy for us. We can put our credit cards in there too, as well as our cash. But also it keeps it safe and nearby us. We know where it is. We know our money is in our wallet. So I've got 2 examples today to show you of what we're making. So you can go as fancy as you want with all kinds of different types of duct tape. But with our materials from our craft kit, if you have that, this is what it's going to look like. But of course, you can always make these crafts with your materials at home, and we'll tell you how to do that as well. So, and I am so glad that we have Eric with us here today to help us discuss this important topic.
Hey Stacy, I'm so happy to be here as well. And my pronouns are he, him. I'm an Asian male with black hair. My hoodie is tan colored and the background is whitish. So I really love this craft project because, holding on to our money safely is really, really important. This could mean we keeping it safe in a wallet or a bank, but could also be making sure we're not spending it without thinking through our decisions to spend that money. When we just buy something to buy it, it's called an impulse buy. And saving money for when we need it is really important. So just like Benjamin Franklin said almost 300 years ago in 1737, a penny saved is a penny earned.
That is a really good point. I love that quote. Because if we didn't spend it, then that's money we have now, right? So that's kind of earned, right? We were going to spend it, would have been gone, and now we get to keep it. Well, while our crafters are thinking about that great piece of wisdom, let's talk about what materials we need today so we can get ourselves started. So everyone is going to need a few things. Everybody's going to need some kind of scissors. Okay, so that's easy enough. And if you have some markers or pens, I have a little assortment of markers and pens here, but specifically with the markers, I recommend permanent markers because it needs to be able to write on the tape. And if you don't have permanent markers, then you can do just a ballpoint pen will write on tape really nicely. But those ones that are like felt tip pens or markers or gel pens will not write on the tape as well. And any preferred embellishments that you have. So I've got some like little jewels here. I've got some little stickers here. So anything like that, you might want to kind of put on the tape to kind of make it your own and personalize it. If you have not received our craft kit, you're going to also want to have some duct tape. I've got all kinds of fun varieties here, but generally duct tape is something we tend to have in our house, and it's usually silver or gray. It looks like it has like little lines or threads in it. That's how you can locate it or find it. We tend to notice those threads running through it. So any kind of duct tape will help. If you don't have duct tape, you can use other kinds of tape, masking tape, or regular tape. But it's got to be the kind that's very sticky. And it probably will not last as long if it's not with the duct tape. With the duct tape, it can last a really long time. We must have had this for 5 years. So it can last a long time if it's got the duct tape. Also, you want to have some kind of cardstock. So cardstock is just thick paper. So you want to have some kind of thick paper, and that could be, maybe you have thick paper, but it could be a file folder. It could be I have a cereal box here. It could be a cereal box. Old greeting cards are great because they might even have some kind of pretty design on it you want to include in your wallet. So that's fine too. But some kind of like slightly thicker paper. In a pinch, though, you can use copy paper and you can use construction paper. They just won't last as long. And then if you did have our kit, we'll show you what's in there. And we always recommend that you sign up for our kits. As long as you registered for the event and we can advance, we will ship the kit for you for free and all the materials you get for free as well. So I encourage you to sign up for our other children's crafting events. This kit came with one piece of cardstock. It also came with one piece of vinyl. So it's going to look a little bit, one side is going to be that vinyl on it. That'll help it be a little bit more resilient. And then we have this kind of two-sided duct tape. And we have one other piece in our kit, which is this one little strip. And it's hard to see. Wait, let's see if I can get you to see it. No, you can't see it even up close. It's hard to tell, but it's actually fabric tape. So it actually feels like fabric. So that's if you do have our kit. So while our crafters are making sure that they have those items, Eric, can you tell us some of like basic financial terminology we should know?
Yeah, of course, I'm so happy to do that. So there are a lot of important terms in the finance world, but most people only really need to know a few so that they can be aware of what is going on with their finances. So these are really essential. We can't cover all of these today, but the most basic term to know that people are often unsure about is an asset. So an asset is an item that you own and that's with financial value. So for example, that includes jewelry, art, precious metals, gold and diamonds, or real estate like your home if your family owns it. There's also other assets that you might not have heard about before, but these are stuff that you might hear a lot of adults talking about. So like stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRAs, CDs, and like 529 accounts. So some of these have more volatility in value than others, and volatility is just a fancy way to say that they change in value a lot. So meaning that the value can go up and down, in some cases over a long period of time, and sometimes over a much shorter period of time. And so just because of that reason, it's important to understand your willingness to risk your money to make more money, such as starting a business or buying a home, compared to your preference for stability or keeping the value safe, like keeping your money in a bank.
Those are really good points. By the way, I'll take the diamonds anytime. Those are fine with me. That's a nice stable thing to have for an asset, but hard to come by, I think. So thank you for letting us know those really important terms. And you know what else is important for us today, Eric?
What is that?
The first step in our craft. I'm sure our crafters want to get started. So if you don't have our kit, you're going to take whatever cardstock you have. We're going to start with that. Okay. Whatever cardstock you have, you're going to cut it. Now you could have a ruler so you cut it exact, but usually you have something around your house that you can use to compare it to, right? So basically you can even just take a dollar bill and use that and go, okay, I want this cardstock to be bigger than the dollar bill because it has to fit your money in it, right? So you just want whatever piece of paper you have for cardstock to be bigger than the dollar bill. I'd say you want it about 3 inches to about 7 inches. Okay. A dollar is a little bit over 6 inches. So you can see my paper is kind of long. It doesn't have to be that long. If you cut it off around there, that's fine too. So you want it bigger than a dollar bill is what you're going for, but it's about 3 inches by 7 inches. If you have your hand, you can see your hand is about the width. Maybe if you have really tiny hands, maybe it's 2 of your hands. Okay. And as far as the length goes, it's probably about 1 of your hands plus the hand the other way, right? So just to give you a sense of how to do it, when you cut it, you can use a ruler to cut it. You can use your pen to, you can take any other like hard surface, and you can see in the close-up camera, you can go ahead and use that to just make a line on the cardstock. If you want it not as, more even, and then you can go ahead and just cut it. My line didn't end up being that even, so, but there you go. It came out okay. So you can go ahead and cut your cardstock, take a minute to do that. And you're going to, same thing, you can cut it. If you're using something that is not from our kit, you can go ahead and cut it. You can use another straight edge. Could be a ruler, could be something else. Draw your line against that straight edge, and then just cut your line. I'll do that in the video too. So you can just cut across that line. Okay, and what you want to ultimately have is 2 pieces that are the same size. Okay, if you can do it with a cereal box as well, like I had mentioned before. You can also do it freehand if you happen to have a good eye for these kinds of things. Probably about the width of the cereal box, and I'm cutting it here, probably about the width of the cereal box. Go down a little bit, and then go across, and you'll get approximately what you need, and you want to have 2 of those. You can even later incorporate the fun colors into the pattern of it, okay? So hopefully you've got 2 strips of that if you don't have our kit. If you do have our kit, it's kind of easier because you've already got our piece of cardstock in there. So you'll take care of that. If you, what you then want to do is we're going to think about the duct tape if you do have our kit. So if you do have our kit, you got a strip of duct tape. Now we have volunteers make these. So some are a little bit longer than others. It's not an exact science. We're a little flexible. So what you want to make sure is that your piece of cardboard that came in the kit is the same size as your strip, okay, your shortest strip of duct tape. We can fix this later as well, but if you get a chance now, you can just go ahead and say, okay, this is a little bit shorter, so I'm just going to cut off a little bit of that edge. Same thing with your vinyl. If you have a short piece of your tape, it's shorter than your vinyl. If you have our kit, you can go ahead, you can even use this as a guide and just cut your vinyl to make sure it's the same size. Okay, so our vinyl strip is still going to fit our dollar just fine when we want to make this into a wallet. So while folks are doing those cuts, okay, and if you don't have a craft kit, you don't have to cut your duct tape yet, okay? So if you don't have our craft kit, you're cutting those cardstock, and if you do have our craft kit, you're going to cut your vinyl piece and your cardboard to make sure it is around the same size as your duct tape. So, Eric, I'm not the expert, but one of the things, and indeed, none of us are like really experts in finances on this call, but we're just giving this kind of entry level information. But I do think, even as a non-expert, that budgeting is important for financial wellness. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's true and it's important to have a safety net. And so, for example, this could be having a savings account or other asset that you can count on when unexpected bills or other financial hiccups can affect you. For example, 2 out of every 5 people with insurance even have received an unexpected medical bill. And so this means that they have to spend money they didn't know they were going to have to spend. So they might not be prepared with that money.
That makes a lot of sense. But I thought most people have savings, extra money for emergencies.
Yeah, I wish that was reality as well, but unfortunately, no. Instead, 1 out of every 5 people have no personal savings at all. So they might not be ready to spend money on a surprise bill because they don't actually have it with them.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. No, that's that same 1 out of 5 from before on our hands. That seems like a lot. And well, okay. Well, right now though, I want us to spend, since we're talking about spending, I want us to spend some time on the next step.
All right,
So,
that sounds great.
so let's spend some time on this. Let's pick. This is what we're going to do. Okay. We are going to put our 2 pieces of our, let me just see for 1 second. Yeah, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to go ahead, and all I want you to do is really simple. I want you to just put your piece, if you don't have our kit, you're going to take your pieces of cardboard and you're going to put them together flat on your surface. I'm going to make some room on my surface here. So you're going to take your 2 pieces of cardboard and you're going to put them together. Okay, like that. If you do have our kit, then you're going to take your 1 piece of cardboard and your 1 piece of vinyl and put them together like that. Okay, so just so they're facing that way. While our folks are doing that, I have a question for you, Eric. Do financial issues, do you think they affect us beyond just bills? Like we talked about expenses, but do you think they affect us in other ways?
Yeah, they definitely do. In fact, one study found that almost half of divorces occur in part because of some financial problem. And not all people get divorced because of this. And probably those troubles have to be really bad for it to make such a difference. And census data also shows that more than half of 65% of people in the United States are homeowners. So if there are financial issues, it could possibly affect whether or not you buy a house. And while these are adult problems, though not for kids to need to worry about, we often also take for granted our financial security. So financial security just means that we can afford the things we need. So it's a luxury or a privilege to be able to afford what we need, and we should never take for granted.
That's a really good point. And actually, I read a book a while ago. It's called Nickel and Dimed. And it was written like 20 years ago, which is probably around when I read it. But the points are so relatable still today. And what she did, she talks about her experience. She was a researcher, but she put herself in a situation to be a low wage worker, basically making minimum wage. And she talked about the problems she faced making minimum wage and trying to earn enough money to live and pay for her bill, pay for her bills and things like that. And it really is this luxury, just like you said, like sometimes we don't realize that how lucky we are, right? And so it's good to be empathetic for other people. We might have nice things, other people might not have nice things. And so it's good to be kind of empathetic's a big word. It just means that we, you know, we can appreciate somebody's situation. We try to understand where they're coming from, you know, and part of that is understanding where our parents are coming from sometimes, right? Because they don't always have the money to buy us everything we want, or even, you know, anything we want sometimes. Sometimes it's just about what we need. Or maybe they're saving for something that's even more important for them to save money for, so that they can get the things that they want for the family later. And same thing with us, we save money so that we can buy things that we want later that might be more important, instead of those impulse buys, like you said before.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's also why people work really hard to make sure we can afford what we need and what we can, well, want. And well, I suppose we should get back to the craft. So what's the next step?
Yeah, I suppose we should. Our crafters are probably very eager, I'm certain. So if you don't have our kit, this part might or might not be easier. You're going to take your duct tape. You're going to pull it, and you're going to put it over those two edges. So if you can see in the close-up screen, you're going to put it over the two edges. You want to make sure you have the edges kind of in the middle. You don't want it too far left, too far right. Try to make sure the middle of your duct tape is right at the middle where these two pieces connect. And as close as you can get to the top edge of it, you're going to try to put just the top part down of the tape. And the reason I say just the top part is so that maybe you can pick it up, change it if you need to. So just the top part and attach it. And now when I did that, it kind of disconnected in other places. So I have to make sure this still connects, make sure it's still connecting, and then I can put the rest of the duct tape. As you're putting it down, you can kind of move it over a little bit and make sure it's still centered. And then if you like where it is, you can press it down. Okay. So there you go. That's one side of your duct tape. Now, and then you're going to go ahead and cut the duct tape. The duct tape can be kind of sticky, so be careful when you're cutting it. It's good to have a sharp scissor. In this case, I have a little bit, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little bit of the duct tape over on the other side. I'm just going to cut that off. You don't have to cut it off. We can just tuck it as well. That's fine too, because it'll be covered up later anyway. So that's one side. Now, if you have our kit, I'm going to show you that on the other side. So just to clarify, you only need to tape one side. So for the people who don't have our kit, I showed you how to tape it here, okay? The people who do have our kit, I'm going to show you how to tape it here, but you only need to tape one side, okay? So I'm going to show you, if you do have our kit, you want to tape the green side. Okay, so make sure your green is facing up and you have your other piece, they're really close together. And then you're going to pick your duct tape, whichever color you want. Sometimes these had the same color on both sides. Sometimes these had different colors. And then you're going to peel off. You may want a grown-up help, or you have to be, you're going to show us how strong you are. Peel off the duct tape. Be careful it doesn't start sticking to itself. It's always tricky with tape. Okay, and then you're going to do the same thing that we just did for the people who didn't have our kit. We're going to put it close on top on one side, as close as we can. Make sure it's kind of in the middle. If it's not in the middle, especially if you have the vinyl's a little bit more forgiving than the cardboard is. You can move it over a little bit as you go down. And there you go. It's okay. Part of the charm of duct tape is if you get a little, I don't know if you can see it in the main screen, if you get a little crease in it, it's fine. It adds to the beauty of it. Eventually, over time, all of these materials will kind of have a little crease in it. So don't stress out about that at all. Plus, it might be in a place where we're going to cover it up anyway. So you can already start to see now, if you, whichever side you did, it doesn't matter. Use the, you're going to fold it so that the tape is on the outside. And now you can start to see you're getting your shape, okay, of your wallet. And you'll notice if you have the craft kit that ours is a little bit lower on one side versus the other side. And that just makes it a little bit easier when you try to open it, that they're two different sizes. But if you have them the same as at home with your own materials, it's fine that they're the same size. If you wanted right now to take a little moment and just cut off a little bit of it to make it so that they're not, one side is not exactly the same as the other, that's totally fine as well. So there you go. So you're going to, just to recap, we're going to have your tape on the outside on the bottom. Okay, you're going to fold it. Okay, and you're going to, if you wanted to make it, if you have your material you're using at home, you can cut off a little bit of one side, and then we're ready for the next step. So for the next step, you're going to take some more pieces of the duct tape. If you're doing this from home, you're probably going to want to cover all of your cardstock on both sides, unless you had a cool pattern. Like if your cardstock had this on one side and you liked that, right? Then great. And actually you can imagine having the orange on that would look kind of cool, right? Or even like that. So you could totally incorporate whatever design into it if your cardstock has a design on it. But if you don't want to incorporate the design in your cardstock, go ahead and just keep repeating what we did. And I'll show you by taking your piece of tape. I'm going to take another color because I feel like having a different color. Take your piece of tape. I'm going to do purple. Take your piece of tape and you're going to peel it again. We're going to do the same thing. Okay, take another piece of tape, except you're going to cover up the part that you don't want to see. Now, you can do it just straight, which you can see in the close-up screen, or you can start to do it kind of fun and do it diagonal. But whatever you do, you want to make sure you cover up all the cardstock. Okay, so go ahead and do a strip straight across, cover up all that cardstock, and then you're going to cut it. You can cover up the cardstock on both sides, and I'm going to do that in a minute, but you don't have to. If you have the cardboard on the inside, nobody sees it, but eventually you want no cardboard to show on the one side. Okay, and you can do this diagonal. You can do all kind of different sizes, shapes. Arrangements, or you can just do it straight across like I did.
Now, I'm sorry, excuse me, are we using just the tape, or is this where we're using the stickers as well, whatever we want to put on?
That's a great question. No stickers yet. You're going to cover it all up with tape first, kind of like the background.
Gotcha.
And it makes it more sturdy if the tape is on it first before you start doing the stickers. So you're going to cover it up. Our yellow did not peel as nicely as I would have liked. So if for some reason one of ours that we sent you did not peel nicely, you can always use another tape for now that you have handy. But our red is going just fine. And you can cover it up with duct tape later if for some reason that didn't work out. So if you have our kit, you're going to go ahead and peel your second piece off. And whatever space you have remaining on your white, you're going to cover it up with your second piece of duct tape. Okay, so in this case, I already did that, right? So there's a little tiny bit of white left. If I don't have any more duct tape, I can just cut around it so that that doesn't show. So you don't want any of the cardstock to show once you fold it up like this. Okay, so this is the back of the vinyl, and that's where the cardstock was, but now it's covered. And again, to do that, you just take your piece of duct tape and you just put it right over it. You can do it. If you have our kit, you probably need to do it straight across because you only have the two pieces of duct tape. But later on, you can always add different dimensions to it, add more duct tape to make it a nice, pattern, anything you want. Okay, so if you have your duct tape on it, if you have our kit, it looks like this right now, where there's duct tape covered on one side and you have the vinyl on the other side with a little bit of duct tape holding it together. If you don't have our kit, then yours probably looks a little bit like this with the duct tape. Still, actually, it still looks the same. Duct tape on one side, and then this side is also covered in duct tape. So at this point, before we get to the next step, you're going to want to have your entire thing either vinyl and duct tape, if you have our kit, or entirely duct tape on the outside. Okay. So before, I know Eric wants to talk, but before Eric talks anymore, I got to do one more thing, okay? Because we still have stuff to learn about finances, but I want to make sure you folks are well on your way. So another piece of this is if you have our kit, okay, you have a yellow strip like this.
Why?
Back of it, on the back of it, there's actually lines, okay? We cut this on purpose so that you would be able to cut right down that middle line. Doesn't have to be exactly even on both sides, but you want to try to get as close to this middle line as possible. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to just cut right down, and I'm showing that on the main screen, right down that middle line. Okay. And then you're going to have two strips of this very, very sticky fabric material. Now, I'm going to tell the folks who don't have our kit what to do in a minute, but if you have our kit, you're then going to peel one side of it, one of them, okay? Make sure your green is on the outside. Make sure this doesn't fold up on itself because then it's really sticky. And you're going to hold this really tight together. Hold your end, short end, really tight together. And start, I would start at the open end. Be careful, this is really sticky. Okay, there we go. Start at the open end of your vinyl, okay? Not the part that's bent, but the part that's open. And on one side, you're gonna put this really sticky vinyl. Now, the thing to keep in mind, one is it's really sticky, but two, you only wanna halfway cover it, okay? So on this side, it looks like it's totally covering it, but it's not really. You can kind of see through the light. It's only halfway covering it. Once you do that, you're going to fold over that vinyl. I'm not vinyl, that fabric tape. And that's what's going to hold your wallet together on that side. Okay. Then with the extra piece, if you have a little extra piece, no problem. You're just going to go ahead and cut whatever's extra. You're going to go ahead and repeat that on the other side. Okay. For the folks who don't have our craft kit, you actually have it a little bit easier because you're going to go ahead and take some more duct tape. Duct tape is a beautiful thing. And you're going to kind of estimate how much duct tape you need. Just take like a little piece. Maybe it's the size of your hand, but you can hold up your wallet and kind of see how much you would need. Okay. And you're going to go ahead and cut it. When I do this, it's going to make a big thud noise. Okay. And now you have a smaller piece of duct tape. You're going to go ahead and do the same thing we just said. Okay. Take the open end, not the part that's folded, but the open end. You're going to put your duct tape about halfway. So if you look at it, it's like halfway up. Okay. Halfway up. Started at the top where the opening is. In this case, mine is two different lengths, but yours might be the same. And then you're going to, so you see it's halfway up and you're going to fold it over. You know, I'm having second thoughts actually, because I thought that our fabric tape looked cool, but the duct tape looks super cool too, doesn't it? Kind of like the way the duct tape looks on that. So both of them look cool. So whether you did it with the fabric tape, and maybe you don't like the fabric tape, you want to use more duct tape, you can always buy more duct tape to add. Or if you're doing this from home, you have the duct tape, you're going to go do the same thing on the other side. Okay. So, and I'll show you one more time how to do it if you're using the duct tape at home. You're going to peel a little piece of duct tape. You're going to cut it. When I cut it, there's going to be a thud. There's my thud. So I have a tape. I'm kind of approximating the size. I'm doing the top of it where it's open and I'm putting the tape halfway over it. So it's halfway covered. And then I'm going to bend it over the other side to seal it. And then I'm going to cut the excess. Okay. So now you kind of have your wallet going on here, right? So while you folks are working on that, there's still two small things we're going to do. But Eric, can you tell us, I know there's a lot of villains in this world and kids watch a lot of movies about villains and evildoers. When it comes to money, who are the villains? What do we need to know?
So these villains, they engage in what's called financial abuse and something else called predatory lending. And these are big terms, but basically they are people lying or not telling information in order to steal someone else's money, property, or other assets. So sometimes someone can just steal something and we know that's wrong and we try to keep our assets like our money safe in our wallets and in the zippered pocket and keep an eye on where it is so no one can take it from us. So think of it's kind of like a bully who is bigger and may try to take our lunch money, or a kid may see another kid's wallet lying around and take it for themselves, instead of trying to give it to a grown up. And so those are stealing. Other times people use their words to try to get us to give them our money. Still, other times, people will encourage us to borrow money, but charge us a lot of extra money. So when we pay it back, it's a lot more than we thought we were going to have to pay. And so sometimes we do this knowing we might have to pay back a little extra. That's called interest. But when it's bad is when we aren't aware that it's a lot of money because this can compound and it adds up over time. So the victims often involve those who can least afford to lose money, like elderly, students, and the disabled. So it's very
That-
unfortunate, yeah.
Yeah, no, I hate hearing about stories like that. And especially sometimes it can be avoided if we like have the right information ahead of time. Can't always be avoided, but definitely sometimes it can be. And we just have to kind of pay attention. If we're signing documents, we have to pay attention to what they say, make sure we read anything before we sign it, maybe get somebody we trust to help us read that and look information over. And we only do financial business or deal with money with people we trust. But the thing, and maybe people we know other people have done business with, but the thing is, sometimes we think just because we know them, we can trust them with money. And that's not always the case either. Because we should always have multiple reasons to trust somebody when it comes to money.
Right. And so, well, Stacey, I also want to take a moment to say that there are great opportunities out there to help people with finances too. So, for example, credit unions are not-for-profit financial institutions, and they're similar to banks. So they require membership and often have better terms than traditional banks. 529 accounts help people save for college. We have 401ks, 403bs, and IRAs. Also, they all help people save for retirement. So there's also definitely a lot of resources out there that we can utilize.
That's great. It's good to know there's ways to save money. That's fantastic. So even though there's probably things that you might have heard your parents talk about. So at this point, we only have two things left to do. First of all, I want you to fold your wallets. This is the exciting part. You actually get to fold your wallet now, right? That's when it becomes a wallet, when you fold it. These are called a bifold. I think these are called bifold wallets, but anyway, they're wallets. So you have your wallets now that you can fold, and you can put your money in. I have my dollar bill I'm going to put in right now in my wallet. So you can make sure that it fits your dollar bill and fold it over. Now, this last thing you need to do is now you get to decorate it. So go for it. Put whatever stickers you want on there. I have some stickers here I'm going to put on it. I have little bubble tea stickers, but whatever stickers you have, make it your own, personalize it. You can also cut out things from magazines, or maybe have pictures of family members. You can also use the duct tape, more duct tape to make designs, cut out designs on the duct tape. You can do anything. If you're, creative, there's lots of different things you can do. If you have those permanent markers, you can write your name on it so somebody knows who to return it to if you lose it. You can draw a picture on it with a ballpoint pen. So lots of different things you can do. You can put some jewels on there if you want. Lots of fun things that you can do. And
You overlapping, that makes you.
I can show you how mine is, right? And then you can put decorations on the inside or the outside, either way. And now you have your wallets to use. I hope you like your wallets that you've made. I hope you'll make them your own. We'd love to see them. If you want to share what you made, feel free. Always like to see them. Oh, that looks
Yeah, it looks
great.
great.
Thank you so much
Awesome.
for sharing that. Look, that looks fantastic.
Amazing.
Sure, fantastic. And you can always duct tape some more on the sides later as well. I love the color of that. That is so fantastic. The color of the wallet. That is great. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. So great. So Jake, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, so real quick, just want to say thank you again for those who came. We really appreciate it. We cannot do it without you, as you guys know. Thank you, especially Stacy and Eric. Thank you to our wonderful scrapbookers. And just as you might like to continue to learn more about financial well-being, to help, we will send our video infographic and a follow-up email by the end of the week. We encourage you to share that with others if you're interested. And also, please consider committing to a weekly act to raise awareness about issues relating to financial wellness. So what does that look like? Well, getting informed by coming to this event is a great way to start, but we also encourage you to be a role model for thinking out loud about your financial decisions in front of your loved ones to help model good financial thinking. Our email will include another brief survey of what you thought of the event itself, and we'd appreciate it if you took the time to respond, as your feedback is very important to us. Right now, I'm actually going to put a quick poll up on screen, and I, again, would really appreciate it if you wouldn't mind just taking that. Let me launch that for you now. So you should see some questions there.
Did you learn something about this issue? You didn't know?
And while you guys fill that out, I just wanted to say our next free adult craft event is actually on maternal wellness on December 5th. We'll be learning about macrame making a keychain. I may have mispronounced that, but it's all part of learning.
Okay. Macrame.
Macrame. This is why we learn things. As
Exactly.
always, yeah.
You have to come to the event.
Yep, you would have not known that if you're like me. But tickets, materials, and shipping are free if you register a week in advance of the event. And next week, on the 21st of this month, this Thursday, we have another great event, which is called a Popcorn and Chat, where we will watch a movie called Planets of the Humans about energy and the environment. If you're interested in more of our events, all of our events for the year are posted on our website. Again, that's www.informyourcommunity.org to look for and learn about even greater Inform Your Community events, but not just our Craftivism program, Celebrating Great program, events from our other programs as well. Please check out our website. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out. And also, if you can, please consider donating to cover the cost of materials and shipping if you can afford it, as it helps keep events free for those who can't. And lastly, I just want to say one last big thank you for coming to this event and helping inform your own communities based on what you learned today. Love the wallets we saw. Hope you guys had a great time. And if you're watching this online, hope your wallet came out just as good as everyone else's.
Thank you.